Good evening, everyone. How are we?
Good evening, chaps. I'm really good. Yourselves?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks, mate. Steve, you just managed to cut in time there, mate. We thought, oh, is he going to be? Is he not? I don't know.
Yeah, just not bad, mate.
I don't know where Jay is, but Jay will be joining us, so we should have all four of us here tonight. We don't have any theme as such for tonight, but I think we've got quite a lot to catch up on in the past few weeks because we've been all over the place and had Kraken as well. But we had Dom on from Kraken the last week, so that was quite a good one. I actually thought Dom was really good, and Jamil actually, to be fair, the two of them were really good. So yeah, I quite enjoyed that one. But this week, Jay's obviously still putting the shopping away, so when he finishes that, he'll be back on with us. But we'll have the four of us here anyway. So yeah, how's things been?
Yeah, you have to excuse me because I'm home alone at the moment, and the dog decided that she wants to play ball. So the boys have decided they're going to go and see a film and go Nando's first, and Jill's decided to go out. So they're all laughing on the fact that trying to keep the dog quiet for 2 hours is just not going to happen. So you have to excuse me while I play ball as well. But yeah, I'm good.
Good, mate.
Yeah.
Steve, how's things with you, mate? It's good to have you back again.
Yeah, it's been okay, really. A few ups and downs in this reefing journey. What I have finally decided is that I can't keep high end zones. That's for sure. So the day glow, yeah, gone, mate. I don't know why, but it is what it is. So yeah, I don't know. Full respect to those people who can grow those day glows because I mean I think like they need like higher nutrients in the system. So I think they need more excessive nutrients as opposed like they're not for the higher end ones. I mean like I've got all the others. You know what I mean? Like I've got the auto chaoses. The auto chaoses grow like weeds. You know the sonic flares grow like weeds. All the others grow like crazy. But what you call it? But like obviously the high ends. But nitrates and things are really low. You know what I mean? So. I don't know whether that's got to do with it, but yeah, no, it is no longer there, But it was worth a crack. We can see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I've got to say,
it looked really healthy as well when it went in your tank that time.
I know. Yeah, it was. You know what? It was great, and it only went like yesterday. Started to see it curl up a bit, and then I looked today, and it's like gone.
So yeah, Steve, was it one product?
Just 1 minute. Look, my dog's look. You can hear your squeaky thing. I'm just moving. Juke, what's this? He can hear you squeaking that thing, so he thinks it's his. So
I'm not squeaking. She's doing it all on her own.
What the hell's going on there, Paul? It sounds like, you got like a rabbit getting pulled around by a ferret or something.
Well, am I the rabbit or the ferret?
I don't know, but what the hell is it?
So I'm home alone, as I just said, but of course she was late, Jay. So I'm home alone. The two boys have gone out to the cinema. Jill's out. So I'm on my own. Dog's decided to wake up and wants to play. And decided to get the only ball with a squeaky, and I can't get it off her. So it could be 2 hours of disruption. But
I'm playing live stream bingo, and I had dog on there already, and it's already marked off. Then that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. This week, dog. Squeaky.
We spoke about this before. We probably should do a live stream bingo and have a card like that. That'd be quite a funny one, I think.
I reckon. Yeah, I reckon.
Jay, you're the man for sorting that out.
KH Keepers on there as well, definitely.
Hey, that KH Keeper's doing all right, mate. It's behaving itself. It's behaving itself. You know what I mean? Wow. Figures when I shown it the hammer, it's decided to play ball. You know what I'm saying? So it's really good, that one. It's really good.
Just short of £1,000. It should be good, Steve. After it's a lot of money. Isn't it?
Absolutely, mate. Yeah,
hell of a lot of money to spend, so it should work well, really.
Yeah. Well, so should everything, really. But sometimes it's R&D. They rush it in sometimes, and it's not always up to par, is it? You know what I mean? But touch wood. I'm not going to jinx myself. I'm going to say that it's doing okay.
Steve, have you been on the little pops earlier? Have you?
On the what, mate? I have, yeah.
Have you been on the pop earlier?
I've not drank for it. Well, I've not drank. Flick it off. well, for ages really. So I thought it's really my first day. It's my first day actually. It's my first day that I'm drinking. So I'm on the Copperbergs tonight.
Nice.
I think Galgal's on the Copperberg as well. I saw that earlier on. His comment.
That's what I'm on the night, Steve.
Oh, Benadryl. Oh, mate, come on.
Chesty boss, man.
A Scotsman like you should be on the hot toddies and all that, mate. Nice. All those whiskies you've got at your house, you should be on them, mate.
I should be, mate, but I'm one of those where I don't want to ruin a good whiskey by making a hot toddy of it. So I'm going to use crap whiskies, and then because I don't like crap whiskies, you go,
yeah, but just think,
do what?
But just think what it'll be doing. Or you'll be using a nice, really good quality whiskey. Yeah, you'll be enjoying it, but you'll also be getting yourself better. So it's a win-win situation, mate. So look here like that.
That's true.
Yeah,
whiskey makes me feel better every time.
You know my gran. She's 86 years of age, yeah, and like she's fit as anything. Well, I say she's fit. She walks around. She's like she walks miles.
Walks around.
And I said, and I'm like,
that's the measure of fitness.
Honest to God. And I said to her, like, what is your secret? Like, why you like you fit and stuff like that? And she said, you know what it is? It's having a whiskey. A single whiskey, yeah, every night. She's had a single whiskey every night, yeah, since she was 18. Yeah.
Wow.
Every night.
Even when you say that one,
every night, even when she's ill, mate, she'll have a whiskey. She'll just have a whiskey, and every night, and she's 86. So it's
going to last a while, mate, because my grandpa's 102, and he's done exactly the same thing, and he's 102 years old. And I said to him, I says, what's the script? And he went, yeah, a whiskey. He has a whiskey every night before he goes to bed, and he's done that since he was a boy.
Yeah. Seriously. Right. So it's just, I'm not going to last that long because I don't like whiskey, so I'm doomed. Yeah, I'm not going to last that long. So
that should be a bit of medical research there. Sounds promising. I need to get on this.
There must be something in it, mate, because, you know, my granddad, both alive, you know what I mean, and both drink whiskey, so they must be, they're doing good, that's for sure.
I might start giving it to me SPS. That'll last long.
I don't know if it works for colours though, mate, that's the only thing.
It might make my SPS last a bit longer. Don't think that Jay's... Mate, I missed you last week, by the way. I'm glad you're on tonight. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. A sincere apologies I was late. I don't know. I was just getting a connection. That's what it was. No exciting story. It was just I was getting a connection. That was it. So do I put the ironing board on the bingo grid then for tonight, Steve, or is it might be something else? Last time you had a drink, the ironing board was out.
Yeah, hey, if I'd have had a few more, mate, should have been out with me at the side of me.
Do you know something? I feel like I missed a trick because I went to Steve's house when I was down at Cracknell and I actually forgot to get a selfie with the ironing board.
Oh yes, Ross. What were you up to on your video last Sunday, eh? Went a bit with you. When did you take that picture, by the way, when my back was turned?
So, full disclosure here, mate. Do you know when I took that picture?
I don't really want to know, as long as it was in the shop and not a hotel room.
I didn't take that picture.
Jay took it.
Jay's wife took that picture.
Oh,
so she made a beeline for you for a picture.
Yeah, she said a selfie with a big man. I says, right, okay, no problem. I mean, I don't usually do that kind of thing, but I'll make an exception for you.
The worrying thing is, my little boy in the car on the way up to Kraken, he's like, I can't wait to see Big Ross. I was like, what? What? Is there something I should know here?
You must have been so disappointed.
Mate, very photogenic picture. It burns well anyway, I'll let you know that.
What, is that on the computer or did you print it?
Oh, God. No, I actually thought it was really good and funny, by the way. It's a good little touch to the video.
Keeping that one under wraps for a week, mate. I was one of those where I thought I want to post this picture, but I can't. I need to keep it safe.
You needed a goggle box moment. Like if you watch when I was watching it live, and I didn't obviously know the reaction. Though, it was just like, what the hell's going on here?
The thing is, though, there's probably so many people have watched that video and don't have a single clue why I've put a picture of me and your wife on the actual video.
It's a bit random.
Yeah.
Very random, but they should be on the live stream. I mean, what they're doing on a Friday night. There's nothing better, is there? Really, than,
what else is there for people to do on a Friday night? I can't think of anything.
Absolutely.
Water change for me. I've just done a water change. I've still got my barrels up. There you go.
Nice. Is that where the tank's going, mate? Is it?
Yeah, here. After I've had the full review from Paul, that's where it might go.
Yeah.
I know he's been investigating some future possible tanks. Have you, Paul?
Oh, what, the Cade one? Only going by the video I saw on Facebook. It looked pretty good. I mean, it's got proper gate valves on it. It's got the switch box at the end. The only downside is if you want to put a Clarity or a filter in it, you do need to do some mods.
You know what? I thought that myself. You know what I can't understand is why the hell they don't give you the option of having a sump, that's made every company, because the majority of people want one of those Clarities in the tanks. The majority of people do, Let's be honest, the majority of people who I know anyway said, listen, if I've got a sump, I'm putting a Clarity in it. End of story. That's what you know what I mean, and that's the thing the take that I get on it. So if a company said, listen, we're doing it now, you don't need them, but we're going to do it, and it's an extra say 20 quid or whatever, 30 quid, to do it, whatever it may be, I reckon more people will go for that, I reckon, but because you've got options, then you can either have the socks, or you can have the filter baskets, or you can have the roller filter, you know what I mean? And for me, it just opens the door and they'll probably get more customers, because I made the mistake, obviously, like put mine in, and then I had to cut it, and it was an absolute, and not only was it a nightmare, it was more stressful, because I thought, what happens if I swing on the glass and I snap and I crack the old sump? Do you know what I mean? Then I'm doomed. Do you know what I mean? And it was like, and you don't want that, not when you're setting up a tank. And now if it come like a choice between whether you can have it or not, I know for sure a lot of people would say, you know what, I'll have it with a roller in it. You know what I mean? For sure.
Does it need to be on like a little pedestal or something, Steve? Does it need to be on like a little raised area? A Clarity?
No. You plumb it into. You can actually plumb it in. You can actually have the water as high as you want. Really, I think it. You know, in the water chamber, all it is basically you'll close off the gate valve, and the water will just rise all the way to the top until it hits the float switch. When it hits the float switch, then the water will just drop. So you can actually set it up in 2 inches of water. It doesn't really matter. Mine's 4. I think mine's 4 inches below the water surface, 4 or 5 inches below the water surface. But when the water's passing through, if the water is clean, then the water level just stays very low. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it just rises as it gets dirtier, and then hits the float switch, and then rolls it back up, and then the water level drops. So you can have it.
Can water go around the edge of it, Steve?
No. It goes
to go through the roll
because it goes through the pipe. Then it goes around the down pipe, from your tank. So you plumb it into it. So all the water that's coming from your tank will go through that filter. That's why you can have the gate valve and you can open it. So like I've opened mine now. So like literally because I had those low nutrients of 1.5, which is low. I opened it and now I tested it with my last reagent. I must add my last reagent, but I have Dom contacted me. So shout out to Dom. They're in stock and I'm going to collect a pack tomorrow. So I tested it and it's gone to 3.7 now. It's reading, and that's with the gate valve completely open. Do you know what I mean? So it's really that roll should last me quite a bit. Do you know what I mean? It's because the majority of the water's passing through it. Do you know what I mean? So
they do look really good.
Yeah, mate, I would
from Kim.
I wouldn't have a tank. I wouldn't have a tank at all without one of them. Never, ever. Not even I think even a nano tank. You know what? And I'd go as far to say, I'd go as far to say, a small, like say 170 or something. Yeah, I reckon you won't even need a skimmer in it. I think you just have to plumb a Clarity in it, and you won't even need a skimmer. I don't think in a 170. I think if you just plumb a Clarity in a 170 and just have some, bio balls, maybe a refugium or something, whatever, you won't even need a skimmer to take it out. I don't think. You know what I mean? You won't even need it because it takes everything out of your tank. It strips it basically. Do you know what I mean? Which is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing as well. Do you know what I mean? So hence why I'm
a good question there from Kim, mate, do they smell when the rollers are getting full or not really?
No.
I've noticed no smell. It's only when you unravel to throw it away that you smell it. But if I was to open the sump, there's no smell from it whatsoever. No. I also find that the higher I keep it, the longer the roll lasts. So you keep it a little bit higher. And also, when you say plumb it in, all I've done is got the downpipe, and I just fit it in, and that's it. All I do is slot it into the back of the Clarity, and that's it. I know Gal prefers the X filter. The reason why I haven't considered the X filter is that it's a bit bigger than the Clarity. So in the 900 in the sump, it fits. So I think someone else has put in there as well around. They give you the choice, and they do. I decided to have it ready for it. There's no extra charge.
Right. Well, going on to what Gal said, the only reason, like I think the only good reason that you can have one of them is that those X filters, they can fit into your actual your media baskets, can't they? You know the actual circle, where your media baskets fit or your socks fit. Yeah, you can actually fit those X filters. You can actually slot them in, so you can just take them out like that and slot them in. Do you know what I mean? So the water passes that way, you know. So.
Yeah, and then someone's gone about the failing compact roller. I had one of the original failing ones. It was a big old unit, and I had it next to the tank in the garage, and that was a beast of a thing. It was really good, and the roller on that lasted ages. I haven't seen the compact one, but yeah, I mean, I've got a tank behind me running with filter socks. And then I've got the Clarity, obviously, in the 900. And I take the Clarity all day of the week because you don't have to mess around with filter socks. I haven't got to wash them. No. And because I've got a light bioload, only got, 5 fish in that other tank, the rolls last ages.
Yeah.
And I've just got the Gen 3 because the other one's conked out after 4 years, which for me, 4 years, I think that's okay, considering the wear and tear it goes through, and there's wires coming out of it and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know how long they should usually last, but most people I've spoken to, 4 years seems quite a decent time for that. But I haven't set up the Gen 3 yet to see what that's like. But the thing with the Gen 2, you have to make it up, didn't you, Steve? So I had to make up the actual unit itself, but the Gen 3 comes ready-made. But I haven't even opened the box yet. I picked it up last Saturday, but I haven't had a chance to sort that out. I've been sorting other things out on the tank.
Yeah, it is a bit of a problem with setting it up at first, but there's I mean, all you got to do is just go onto the D&D,
I followed the video,
and they actually show you like step for step. That's what I did actually, just to make sure I was doing it right. You know what I mean? And it's fairly straightforward once you set it up. But
you build them yourself as well, do you not? They come like flat packed, and you have to build them. Is that right?
Yeah, on them ones.
The Gen 3 doesn't apparently. When you open the box, the actual body will be ready made. But I haven't opened the box yet. But I'll let you know. I'll get on once I do. I don't know about the X filters, whether they're ready made or whether you have to make that up. I don't know. Gal will obviously tell us.
There's quite a lot of people in the chat just now talking about nitrates being low and having to dose nitrates and so on as well. I've seen more and more people talking about that recently. You know, I think it's went full circle because before, when I looked into stuff, people always wanted to have low nitrates, and now it's come to a stage where everybody's got low nitrates and nobody wants them, and you can't get them higher.
People are concerned because we've talked before about dinos, haven't we? Before, and if your nitrates bottom out and if your phosphate bottoms out, then you got a problem. But also your corals don't like it, even with the SPS. I think having zero does not help her at all. We've talked about that numerous times, haven't we? And you're talking about your zoas when we first started. I've obviously got the day glow. But when I got that, I mean, I had one polyp and mine are doing really well. I've fragged them, I don't know how many times now, but it's in the same tank. But it's I'll keep mine quite high up. So on a frag rack, only because I've got no room. And they frag okay, but then I have got some nitrate and phosphate in the tank. And it's a mixed reef. I'm not really focused on SPS in there because I'm really struggling with SPS in that particular tank. But it's I wouldn't say it's dirty, but I think the nitrates are usually about 5 to 10. And phos are about 0.05-ish. So that's the kind of levels I like to keep across all the tanks. But then I haven't tested for a couple of weeks on that, so I've got no idea. But the corals look pretty good, especially the LPS.
So, I know we spoke about the day glows earlier, and you've got great success with them, Paul. Do you think they need more light then? Is that maybe the thing that...
Well, the ones I've got for you are on the sand bed, and they've popped from 2 to 4 polyps. Jay's one's on the sand bed as well, and he's got 2 polyps. the main colony is probably only about 4 or 5 inches from the surface, and all the zoas are doing really well on that. That's including those. But I've only put that. I usually, whenever I frag something, I put it on the sand bed, let it settle, and then I raise them from there. But the only reason why I've got yours on the sand bed is it's got no room left. And then I've got those other ones that are those blueberry. The ones that we talked about the last couple of days. I got those yesterday. They're on the sand bed.
Was it blueberry pies or something? Or
blueberry pies, the ones that we saw.
They're stunning,
on
aren't
Instagram. So, I've got 5 polyps of those. They turned up yesterday.
Where'd you get them from?
They're on Esox on Ultimate Reef. There's a guy on there.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
He's based up in Yorkshire. Really good guy, really experienced. He's got quite good threads on there about fighting demons.
He done the good one about the Sino and stuff like that.
Yeah, Sino, yeah. So I put a post on Ultimate Reef saying, has anyone got these zoas? And he said, yeah. And he posted it, 24 quid for 5 polyps. So I can't complain on that. Turned up yesterday, and they're just beginning to open up now as well. They look quite small heads, like rastas, rather than utter chaos.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But hopefully they'll start popping. He says to actually put them higher up in the tank. So I'll make some room on the frag rack, and if they pop pretty quick, I'll frag them, and then you guys can have a couple of polyps in them because they look really nice. The only thing is that whether I can get them as nice as looking as Instagram, but we'll see.
That was a very, very good photo, mate, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe a bit of light room was going on there. Dan,
so we'll see.
Can Dan post what filtration he's using at the moment? Because obviously, if he's feeding heavy, he's trying to get his nitrates up. But what's his exports like? So what is he?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Because we didn't really answer his question, so we're just wondering what he's using to export. But
yeah, I mean, if he's got the same problem I had, where I put a kilo of bio balls in, then that's not going to help. But I don't know what will be in the tank.
It's like how many fish,
if you've got space, more fish. Yeah. That's another thing that's quite easy to do.
Yeah, so how much filtration, what size tank, how many fish, that kind of thing.
I did the same as Ross. I put too much biomedia in at first, and mine wouldn't rise up.
And mine's still relatively low, but it's coming back up again. I think just all the algae and everything that I had in my tank was causing a bit of problems, but I'm just going to let it stable out now and then hopefully back to normal again.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's. I think to be truthful, Paul, I think that's what it is. And in retrospect, when I was looking at it, like that day glow that I bought, even though it was nice and all that, don't get me wrong, it's in the guy's water, and it looked like it had only just been newly fragged, if you know what I'm saying. It hadn't been set, you know what I'm saying. So I'm thinking, and I do know for sure, and I know myself when I frag my own. You know, like my old chaos and stuff like that. And I had them in my little nano tank that I had, I left them in, obviously, you know, and let them settle. And then obviously when you started to see, a bit of, coralline algae grow on the frag plug and stuff like that, then you know that they settled and they should be good to go. This one was like a brand spanking new white frag plug. So for me, I don't know whether I made a mistake of just buying, which I always do say I wouldn't buy like if it's only just been fragged. You know what I mean? I always say that. But, maybe that might have been the case because it's strange how like all my other zoas grow like mad and yet that one didn't seem to.
It could have been that. I usually let them settle for a couple of weeks before I send them out because then they've settled, they've opened up. Once they've opened up in your own tank and they're okay for a few days, then I usually think they're okay. I mean, I could keep hold of them. I mean, I've had Ross's ones and actually Jay's ones now probably for 6 weeks at least, so they're good. They're good to go. But if they've been standing in a little pot for quite a while, temperatures going up and down, you then put them in your tank, it could have stressed them out, and they could have. Did they melt or just? I suppose it just faded away. Did they?
It just faded away. Yeah.
The thing is with zoas are the first week with zoas, they're so fussy. Like they don't always open. Sometimes you're waiting days, aren't you, to actually see what they look like. Out of all the corals I've put in, they're the ones that take the longest to kind of settle in for me and kind of show their colours and open up. A lot of the others just get kind of pretty instant, really. But zoas are.
I got some scrambled eggs from Nano Tank Reefer a while back. Scrambled eggs, zoas, I must say, not scrambled eggs before somebody jumps in. But he sent me them up, and they came in the pots. They were fine. But when I put them in the tank, they were closed, and they stayed closed for almost 2.5 weeks. They didn't open at all the full time they were there. And then they opened and they're perfect and they've been healthy since. But it was one of those for, at the end of the second week, you're looking at them going, They're not going to open, are they? But they didn't melt. They just stayed closed, but they did open eventually.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to sit it out with them, haven't you? And sit and wait.
Again, though, I've said it loads of times, I think they're underrated. I really do. I mean, so many people are quick to knock them, but I think for the colour they give your tank, it's incredible.
Yeah. I'd like to do I think I'd like to do a Zoa tank. I mean, I don't need 4 tanks, by the way, but I must admit, doing something like a really simple reef, just with Zoas, and I think you can do that. I say on a budget compared to kind of how much we spend, but I think you can do an all-in-one tank, just a few litres, just do it Zoas and let it blow out. I think that'd be quite good to to do.
I agree. Well, you know what? I went on the Cade website to see if they do a nano tanks, nano ones, and I thought if they do a nano, then I'd probably go for one of them, and thought exactly the same thing.
Don't they do one? I think they do a 170.
No, it's 160 litres, mate. That's not a nano. That's not a nano tank. That, you know what I mean? I'm talking like maybe 100 litres, 100 litres. But it does say on their website when you click on it, nano tank, and then when you click on it, it goes coming soon. So maybe they might have something in the pipeline. I don't know, but if they do a nano tank.
The other day that I thought was quite a cool thing was it was a company in America, and I think it's maybe like a kind of shed type company thing, but what they're doing is these little, I suppose they're probably pico tanks, you could call them. They're 5 gallons. But it's a 5-gallon all-in-one tank, and it's acrylic. So it's an acrylic cube with the all-in-one back section, comes with a pump and everything for it, and it's $50. And I thought, for $50 for one of them, that would be brilliant. But it's the shipping to get them across here. That's the only problem. But I thought that'd be quite a fun wee project to have a little 5-gallon and just
absolutely. It would, yeah.
The 4 of us could get them and try a different one each and see how we get on. And
you know what? Good idea, actually.
That would be good, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be good. That I don't think
exactly the same time.
I don't think I'll be putting my rainbow chalice in it though, just in case. You know what I mean? Just in case,
That's the thing. I was talking to somebody about this earlier, actually. That
you know what I mean?
There's so many people in the hobby that have so many different ideas. So you could set 4 tanks up, but they would be 4 completely different scapes, different corals, different everything. I think that's what makes it so enjoyable, because you sit and rake through Instagram at people's tanks, and every one of them's different.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I was looking at, and I know, like they're cheap and they're thingy, but you know what? The more and more I look at them, is like the Fluval, the Fluval 52s, the little. I think, like them little peninsula, I just think there's something like, like you could do something really special in one of them, and I mean, like really special, with it, If you take the time and the thought of not rush it, just proper take my time with it. Like my nano tank, I just threw it together within 2 hours. It was all up and running, you know what I mean? It was no thought really went into it. I just put it all. But I reckon, like Paul says, you could do a really good, scape with Zoas and Zoa Island, and maybe little rock net, rock anemones. I love rock anemones and stuff like that. I think they're good. I think they just look absolutely stunning. Something like that maybe. But I don't know.
A lot of people will go for a nano tank for their first tank and work their way up to bigger ones, whereas you don't see many people going back to a small tank again. And I think if you were to get some of the really good experienced reefers to go back to a small tank again, I think it'd be quite interesting to see what they come up with, how they get on, what they put in it, what their scape's like, because you would think a lot more into it than what you do when you first set up a tank and you go, I want water in it, I want fish, I want corals, and that's it done yesterday. So I think it would be quite interesting, that, mate.
Watch this space. Watch this space.
There we go. He's getting one.
Something might be new, mate. Something might be new. Yes.
Nice.
Well, I've still got my first tank in the shed. Oh. So the Fluval M90 that I got 7 years ago. It's in the shed for 6 years now, and I'm thinking, if I set it up, where do I put it? And I don't want 4 tanks, so something would probably have to go. But I'm thinking I could dust that down. It's an all-in-one, and I would do things slightly different to when I first set it up for sure, in terms of just really what I would keep. When I first set it up, you want one SPS, and I upgraded the lights, and I've done this and I've done that, and I messed around with it, something stupid. And I'll chill out far more with it now than I did then.
You know what? When I was first researching the hobby and stuff, and like getting it really into it, like literally studying it every time I finished work, I was like on it, yeah. And those were one of the first tanks that I looked at was the fluvial, because they did the 60, the 90, and the 120, didn't they?
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I thought, you know what? They look real with the stands. With it, like the stands came on the stands.
Absolutely, I got the stand and everything sitting in the shed. Yeah, I did a 3-foot tank, really narrow. It was only 125.
Yeah, that's right.
It was before the Red Sea Reefers come out, so there wasn't really a massive choice of tanks at that thing. I just went for that because it looked pretty good.
If you remember, because they were competing, and then the Aqua One, remember the Aqua One 300s? Because I looked at them as well, the Aqua One 300s and the Aqua One 400s. They were reef tanks as well. But I was doing my research, and I was then going to go with an external filter, the external filters, and plumb it under the stand and stuff. But they did look really nice. And if you think about it, like say an M90 with one of those new reef, the new reef, the Reef Factory, the new lights that are coming out, the dead slimline ones that look like a UFO. Oh, I think that'll look pretty sick, that, if you ask me. You know what I mean? For sure.
The only problem with that tank, you could probably buy second hand about 80 to 100 quid, and you spend 700 to $1,000 on a light for it.
Oh no,
it's a bit of a mismatch.
400 quid, mate. 400 quid. You only need the two. You only need the two light. You only need the two light.
There you go, Paul. Phil's just said he's just reset his Fluval M90 with Stax rocks for Rose and LPS.
Oh, nice one. Because I've still got the original rock as well down the shed as well, so I haven't thrown the rock away. So I could use it. I've still got the light, probably got the return pump, and I've got the rock. I'd have to get some new sand. And
you should do it, mate. Go for the nostalgic reef.
Yeah, it could be retro, couldn't it?
Yeah,
retro reef. That's the one.
Yeah. I could do a bargain tank because I haven't got to buy anything for it. Well, I probably still have to buy a few bits and bats. I bought a Nero 3 today, 50 quid.
Wow, that's a bargain, mate.
And it's
where
as
the
clean
hell
as you
got
like.
that?
So it's on Ultimate Reef.
Oh, wow.
I need to get on there.
I tell you what, I keep when Ross is on there. I mean, I've said this before. It's like kind of Groundhog Day. You get loads of free. You can get free kit. You can get free. People giving corals away because they got too much and stuff like that. And there's some really good people on there. The advice is pretty good as well. I mean, it's not as easy to use as like a Facebook and Instagram, but you can do a tank thread. I mean, you've got a tank thread on there, haven't you, Ross, as well? And you get some really good stuff on there. That's where I got the Zoas from as well.
There's a lot of good stuff, actually. There's a lot of people that are willing. So what I've seen anyway, especially the Scottish guys, a lot of guys, they don't sell frags, they don't buy frags, they purely swap them with people. So, somebody will give somebody a coral and they'll give them a frag back from it. But, a lot of the guys, if somebody gives them a coral, when that coral splits or they frag it, they'll give it to other people for free. So it seems to just spread quite across. And it's actually a really good, I want to say community, but it probably is quite a good community, to be honest with you. And like you say, there's quite a lot of bargains with equipment and so on. There was a guy selling a AI Prime today, one of the HD ones, for I think it was £100 on there, and I thought that's got to be worth £100 all day long. But some of this stuff's brilliant, mate.
Black Pearl Reef.
It's like a slot machine. His eyes are going around. He's got a jackpot.
He's actually just trying to figure out how to register on it.
How do you get on this? Where do you go to get on the Ultimate Reef?
Jay, we've spoken about it ages. If you Google it.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like I can't cope with another. Like I've got Instagram, got YouTube. It's like something else to look at, isn't it?
Okay, Jay, just don't do it. We'll take all the free stuff. We'll take all the equipment, man. Just you stay where you are, mate. It's fine.
Don't get something like that for 50.
No, but I do really fancy it. Yeah, I want a Nero 3 instead of the Jabo. I'm fancy. They just look nicer, don't they?
That's another valid point, actually, that Algae Warriors had here, is that it's a good way to coral bank. So, if you're giving people a couple of different frags from your tank and your tank crashes, then you can get some frags back off them again. So,
I've done that with a few people over there. I've given some of the SPS away on the basis if I have a problem, they can grow them out, they can frag them, they can sell them, do whatever they like. But then if I have a problem, if it's still going in their tank, then they'll just frag me a piece and give it back. So I think it's a good way of sharing it, and also a bit of an insurance on your own tank.
Mm-hmm. I think we've lost Steve. Seems to have froze and disappeared, but we'll get him back anyway.
Yeah, they're gone for another beer or something. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Well,
Did Dan
Probably.
ever come back? Did Dan ever come back talking about his tank?
No, I don't think he did, to be honest with you, mate. I tried to have a look out for him, but I don't think he come back in the chat with that one.
Yeah.
I suppose we should probably touch on the main point for this week was what was it they called it again? The Aqua show at Telford, I think it was.
Oh yeah, Aqua Telford. Why was it a midweek show? That's what I want to know.
No, it's
a trade show, mate. It's for trade only.
It's a trade show, and it's Wednesday, Thursday. I mean, I didn't get there in the end because I had work, so I couldn't go. But I know you have things like DD there, and I think the Cater is being showed off for the first time. I don't know if Dom went, because when we was at Cracknell, he was talking about he might have been able to get there or not. I don't know what other new products were there, but there was certainly some manufacturers there, as you'd expect from a trade hobby or a trade show.
There was something that I seen that was actually really quite interesting. It was a product called Reef Delete. I don't know if you've seen that anywhere. And it's basically, it looks like a laser pointer as such, to be honest, but it fires UVC light out at a focused point and kills virtually anything it touches. So you could get rid of Aptasia, flatworms, cyano, whatever kind of thing you want, just with this little pen that you press. Now, don't get me wrong, I think it's about £200-300 for this thing, but for what it does, and if it's proven to work, I think it'll be really successful.
Especially on things like Aptasia, because once you've got those, it is quite difficult. I know we talked about copper band and foalfish and peppermint shrimps and all that, but once they're in your tank, they are difficult to get rid of. I mean, Cole from Reef King was on Instagram earlier on, and he was talking about that. He's got a couple of big old Aptasias he struggled to get rid of, and even if you take the rock out, sometimes it's difficult to actually strip it off the rock altogether. So if that kind of thing does help.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, no way. We've just got a message from Steve here. His electric's tripped.
Uh-oh.
That's not a good idea.
I'm in the next couple of minutes. Mine went off for 3.5 hours, and this was when I was, at Kraken. I got back from Kraken, and my electrics were out because my decking, my outside deck, because it was raining really bad that day, wasn't it, when we went to Kraken?
Yeah.
It was raining all day here. My outside decking lights tripped the internal circuit board, and then my tank was off for about 3.5 hours. And when I came back, it wasn't. This is the interesting thing. It wasn't the lights. It wasn't so much the temperature. It was the because the fish didn't have the flow.
Yeah.
After just 3 hours. The reason why I know it's 3 hours is because I have that little camera, and when we went for food afterwards, my tank was still got the blue light on. So I knew
because
and then when I got home, it was completely pitch black at about 8:30. So it had gone off between about 5:30 to 8:30. And when I got back, the largest clownfish was kind of swimming a little bit on a side, and like hardly moving. The little guy was trying to look after her basically and swim around her and kept trying to nudge her. But it was just that the oxygen levels had dropped within 3 to 4 hours of it being the flow being off.
Yeah.
So,
it's a good job you didn't stay in Manchester, mate. Can you imagine if you had stayed overnight?
If I stayed in Manchester, my reef would not be here. That is a fact. I think if it had stayed by like even midnight, I think I'd have lost some fish. It was pretty serious. So I am going to buy the battery. The battery backup. I am going to get one. Because that scared the living hell out of me, to be honest. And I was surprised it wasn't the temperature or the light. It was the flow and in particular skimmer, which aerates the water. And I was shocked to how quickly it had an adverse effect on the tank. So,
so what are you going to go for? Are you going to do a DIY one or one of those that use for the computers that you can use as a server backup?
Yeah, I don't really know. If people say, if anybody's in the chat who's kind of got one already, I don't really want to spend a lot on it, really, because they can be quite. I
don't think that's an option, mate. I think you're going to have to spend a lot unless you go DIY.
About £100 or something, yeah.
You can get one for about 140. I've seen. It depends what you're going to get. If you want to get one of those that backs up servers, you can get one for about 150 quid. But the more you pay, the more obviously wattage it's got. So I'd shop around. I mean, you can do a DIY one. I think that we talked about it before, and there was quite a few links that people sent through and talked to around. You can do it yourself, but then it's a case of, do you want, you know, car batteries underneath the desk and it's all hooked up as a DIY? Or do you want if you want a neat and tidy unit, then you're going to have to invest in a bit of money, aren't you?
The Ecotech one, I think I'd just go for the Ecotech one. When I first got home and I noticed that everything was off, we got an extension lead from next door's house, ran it through the top windows and straight into my tank. So just to keep it going before we got the electric back on at the house, we didn't know what had caused it. But
if you get an Ecotech one, I think they only hook up to Ecotech stuff. I stand to be corrected on that, but I think they do. I think they're specifically made for. You could probably mod to use something else, but someone else would know. I think someone's put on there about Reef Dudes did a good video recently on a DIY battery backup. So Steve, what's happened then? Obviously it's tripped and it's all right now.
I was just saying, and all the electric just went out, just tripped on the circuit and on the board, just tripped completely. All the power went out. I'm like, what the hell? But then obviously my internet went out, didn't it? So it's just like froze, just completely froze. God knows, it's just like, you know, the surge protector in the thing, it's just tripped up. I don't know what happened there. Obviously a power surge of some sort somewhere. We've got that many electrical things going on in this house, mate. It's enough to like Blackpool illumination. You know what I mean? It's just insane. So I don't know what it is, but I'm going to have to keep an eye out on it and see.
Did you kick the beer machine in, mate? Is that what it is?
You what, mate?
Did you kick the beer machine on? Is that what caused it?
No, I've got the cans. I've got the cans, haven't I? I've got the beer today. Not the beer. But yeah, I really don't know what happened there, mate. But I mean, the good thing with like, say, you know, like having like the Apex and stuff and all those ones, they've all got. I think they've got like they must have like a battery built into them, you know, so it's got memory, you know, so it remembers your Wi-Fi and stuff like that. So the moment it comes back on, it automatically, you don't need to program it and all that. You know what I mean? Again, thank God. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think it must be like a little small battery in it that can store it for like, say, an hour or two. I don't know. You know what I mean? The memory in it.
So also, Brooks has got a comment here saying, Kise Abso. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, I have no idea.
No.
Let's have a Google.
I'm going to have to Google that just now.
No. Is it a battery or something? I think
it's a DC charger, I believe. So yeah, it must be some kind of smart battery charger type. Yeah, I need to have a look.
Yeah, Galgal's put, bear in mind, Ecotech batteries only work on the Ecotech Ecotech batteries.
Which is yeah.
So that wouldn't work for me then. That's no good.
Get a universal battery backup from Fish Street.
Right.
Okay.
Helpful. Thank you. Yeah, because I got
stung. I guess though, Jay, I mean, you say there that you want something cheap for under £100, but God forbid you had came back that day and your tank was gone.
Yeah.
That would have been thousands, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. If somebody says it's £500 to get all your stock back, I bet you would say, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I was in a real panic, to be honest. That's why I say we knocked on the neighbour's door and asked for an emergency supply coming through. And I don't know if I had a bit of a warning as well, because 2 or 3 weeks before, I think I mentioned this, one of my extension leads packed up. And it didn't have the surge protector. So now I've had to change my extension to have the surge protector because, you know, for an extra, 15, 20 for a decent extension lead, it's definitely worth it than putting a kind of one
I mean, when you plug in all your plugs in for your tank, mate, surge protector is a must. I mean, you know what? I made the mistake. That was the one I didn't do. Yeah, was when it tripped and the power went out and I stayed at my girlfriend's mum's. And what you call the only night it stayed out and it tripped and then it switched off. And I only knew because the Apex sent me an email saying it's been off for a certain amount of time. I was like, what? Yeah. This was in the morning when my phone had charged up because it was on charge. And I'm like, oh my God, I sprinted. I was like Usain Bolt. I flew from my mother-in-law's, like, got in and I knew straight away. And when I opened the door, I couldn't see the lights and I'm like, oh my God, that's it. You know what I mean? It was like game over. And then there was like 3 fish dead. How the hell some coral survived, I don't know. You know what I mean? I think the water was like 21 degrees. Or I think it was 21 degrees or something. It was like really, it was awful, mate.
Yeah.
It's just how quickly it turns that shocked me the most. You know, just 3 to 4 hours, and the reef was starting to. Well, the fish first. To be honest, it's alarming. It's really.
That's probably to do with the size of the tank, because I've had one of the tanks out without a battery backup for over 5 hours, and it's okay. So I think it obviously depends how many fish and then the size of the water. But going back to the power surge, you know, I had the problem with the M1. That actually was a power surge because it was the power brick that went. So the M1 is fine. It was the actual power surge. I've obviously now had to put an extension lead on that one because that's not on the Apex, because the Apex was full up with plugs. So that blew because of the I had just a crappy extension lead.
Yeah, I did as well.
That was the problem I had on that, was the power surge. When I had the power cut that time and then it went back on, obviously when the surge, it must have blown it.
Yeah.
He's a red Sharpie.
He was all right.
How is the red Sharpie, Jay?
Yeah.
Sharpie's all right. Sharpie was in there. And so the Blenny as well. The Blenny normally lives on the top of the rocks. When I had that power outage, he actually went right underneath the scapes. I don't know what he was doing, like keeping warm or something. God knows. I didn't film any of it. I didn't film any of it because I was just like in a mass panic. It's like there's no way I'm filming this.
It's not like you to be in a panic, mate, is it?
Well, the fish were all right doing this on the bottom, like just doing a shuffle. Sharpie, where is it? Hey, good update on Sharpie. His bedroom's gone. Have you noticed?
I was going to say no hotel.
Yeah, so obviously, where's it? Where did I put it?
So have you stopped tucking him in at night time then, mate? No more bedtime stories or that? Or
I know you were taking the mic, right?
We was, yeah, right.
So I had the fish bedroom for about a week, right? And no joke, I put him in there at night because it's. I think, right, and this just sounds stupid. I think he's scared of when the lights go out. I'm not joking. Right.
Jay, please don't let's do a retake. Don't say fish are scared in the dark now. Fish are not scared in the dark, mate.
Fish get spooked when the lights go out. I've googled it, researched it on mainfish.com, and because he was getting spooked by the dark, he was swimming over the clowns and they were attacking. Anyway, long story short, I got the bedroom out. Put him in there for a week, but because he's been in there at night, I put him back in the mate. I thought it's fine. Like, I don't have to put him in there anymore.
Jay, why don't you
give him a torch to swim around with at night?
I tell you what, one of those 3D printed
I don't need to be in the bedroom anymore. I'm all right now. I'm one of the family. So it's actually one of the clowns love him now. So these things, if you've got an aggressive clowns, this worked. And that mirror, Steve, that you said, put the mirror in. Not in, but outside.
The mirror definitely works, mate. Definitely works. For it, I think for any fish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
yeah.
I was gonna say, so Jay, the only thing that's flawed in your plan is obviously the fish has come from the sea. So clearly in the sea, like 24/7. And if it's kind of like, I don't know, 20, 30 meters down, it's gonna be fine, isn't it? So clearly it was scared of the dark.
Right. You say that, and it's on the description, he's a bottom dweller. But at night, mine's always near the surface. He's like up near the top all the time.
Yeah, but Jay, your tank is 1.5 foot in depth. Yeah, the ocean is thousands of meters deep, mate. So it depends on where he wants to go. You know what I mean?
He can't really get away from the clowns. That's the problem with it.
I don't think when he goes to the surface in your tank, Jay's going to get a nosebleed. I think he'll be all right with that.
You know what, Jay? Hey, you know what? Hey,
there's no tips there.
I've got to give you 10 out of 10 for perseverance and tucking him in at night, mate.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I'll be honest, right? I reckon he'd have been dead otherwise. Seriously, I reckon he'd have been dead. Without the fish bedroom at night for the first week.
Best tenner you'd ever spent, that, wasn't it?
And fish no chips or whatever it was then. So I do leave my under cabinet LEDs on at night, so it's a bit brighter for him. I'm not taking the mic. This stuff works. This is working.
Right, I know. That's the thing that's so funny. You're deadly serious. Did you get the 3D printed bed done or not?
Aquaprint should have made me one. They're brilliant aqua print. I'm sure they could have made me a better.
This comment here that says Jay is the gift that keeps on giving is so true. It really is.
It's brilliant.
I'm not to say it's not true, but all this is genuinely true. Be careful, you might drown that, do you? Cheers, mate.
You can't beat that, can you? You can't beat it.
It was just because he was swimming up at night, he was landing on the clowns. They didn't know who he was, so they kept getting aggressive and biting his fins and stuff.
Name tags, mate. You want to get name tags made for them so they know who everybody is. That's the thing.
A meet and greet.
Now they know who he is. They're like, oh, here he is, Sharp. He was in his usual self. They leave him alone now. They leave him alone. Let me see if I can get him on the camera.
Oh, here we go.
Jay, what we actually need is another Down on the Reef special where you narrate all this to us and actually tell us a little story about it. That's what we need.
Some people don't think I'm a serious reefer, but I try to be, you know. Is he there? Can you see him? He's down here.
Just on the left. Hang on, I'll make it.
There he is. Ness's layer special. Absolutely brilliant LFS. The fish are super healthy and is there. He's next to that Monty.
Ah, there he is, mate. I see him.
He's staying away. He's staying away.
He's just gone round. He's just gone round the back. Yeah, he's just gone round the back. Sorry.
He's actually scared of fingers, mate. That's what you need to watch.
I tell you one thing he isn't scared of: lobster eggs. They absolutely go mad for those lobster eggs. He loves them.
I've never fed lobster eggs. Do the clowns eat them as well, Jay?
Everything eats them. Everything. The crab, the shrimps, the clowns. I think it's like their favourite diet at the moment. They go mad for it. But yeah, it's just...
Yeah, Jay, you still feeding the frostbite?
No, that didn't go down very well. Steve's recommendation, frostbite.
Everything in my tank loves the frostbite, to be fair.
You missed that one. That was a classic. Yeah, he's a brilliant little fish. In fact, I think he's my favourite, to be honest, even though he's the newest addition. But there's one issue that I'm facing, I think, a little bit. So because he's so lazy. Well, now I've got rid of the bedroom thing because he's so lazy at feeding and quite slow. We do have to feed quite heavy, and then in a little nano like this, it's not great because then you're having to do more kind of exporting of the nutrients. Otherwise, you're going to get loads of phosphate.
Did you not just target feed them, Jay?
Yeah, I do, but he's like my bottom set PE group. Like when they play rounders, they don't even have to hit the ball and they get all the way around because none of them can catch, none of them can throw.
So Jay, you could turn the hotel into a restaurant.
Yeah,
and you can invite him in and feed him that way.
I think one thing about that little bedroom, it's proven that I'm better at catching fish than Steve. That's what it is. I got him. I got him.
Hey. Whoa. Let me chirp in there. Yeah. You've got a tank there, yeah. You got a tank. Well, that poly box was bigger than your tank, so let's not be. It's easier to catch.
Tiny.
It's easier to catch a fish in that tank, mate. Trust me. Wait. I can't wait. I want you to get a tank when you get your big tank, yeah? And we'll see how. And if it's a villain, mate, we'll see how long it takes you to catch it.
Right, that's a tiny fish. I caught him every night. Yours was massive. It's like a bloody whale. I could have caught that in 10 minutes. And you were like, oh, here we are, day 362.
Hey, it felt like 365, mate.
Wait, what was that? It took you about 3 weeks. Catch a bloody massive.
Hold on a minute. 4.5 weeks it took me. 4.5 weeks.
A rod and a line would have been a lot faster.
Well, I was actually contemplating getting a spear gun, mate.
I know. I don't know if Paul UK Reef is in today, but he's trying to catch his Steve. So I've set him a challenge to catch it quicker than you.
What's he trying to catch? What's he trying to catch though? He's caught the wrasse today.
Catch a wrasse, isn't he?
He caught the wrasse. Didn't he catch the wrasse? He caught the wrasse, I think.
No, that big wrasse. No.
Oh, did he not?
What,
right.
What today?
I thought he was after catching two, wasn't he? He was after catching two fish.
I don't know. I thought it was a wrasse that was after.
Yeah, and then it's got that big wrasse had it, which he was after catching, and I think he's still not caught him, mate. Wrasses, you know what? They're clever and wrasse, mate. You know what? They are smart. They're on the ball, them lot. You know what I mean?
They're on the ball.
They're on the ball, them lot. I tell you.
The clowns would be much harder to catch. To be fair, that it is a bit docile. Those scooter blennies are a bit docile.
Yeah, you know what they're like.
When you feed them, they're like the food's gone, and they're just like. It's like, no, you missed it. You missed it, mate. It's gone.
Yeah. Now you go to bed hungry tonight.
Or you can go to the hotel.
You might catch it if it comes around about 3 more times. You have to feed so much so it actually gets something. In a nano, it's probably not the best fish for this size tank, to be fair. Probably need a bigger tank, really. Jay, bedroom.
Oh, mate, that's a perler. Yeah, I love it.
You think we could make a video about how to actually make fish? I reckon no one's going to take it serious.
I think you might be right, Jay, but it might be worth it.
But the results, though, he's in there now. He's happy as he can be.
You know what's good, Jay? Yeah, is it's worked for you, mate, and it's worked for you, and it's succeeded. And you've succeeded in it.
So line in reefing. That's
the main thing, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not everything works on your own tank. Do it your own way. Find your own solutions. There you go.
I know 100%. Yeah, I would not be able to use that in my tank. Just wouldn't happen. Yeah, imagine that. No, it just couldn't happen. It's just too big. You wouldn't be able to catch anything.
Thinking outside the box with that one, Jay, weren't you?
I've got some other little bit of. I've got something else here for Steve. So I've had a bit of a sneak peek at my coral, Steve. You know.
What's that?
Pikachu, is it?
I've had a little sneak peek. Yeah, someone's actually mentioned the Pikachu earlier, actually, I think.
Yeah.
Now, where is it now? Let me have a little look, Steve. It's growing nicely. Have you had an update on yours yet?
No.
Yeah, have you?
No, not yet.
Where's my update? Wait a minute. Oh, here it is. I think it's on WhatsApp. It might take me a minute. Oh, it's here. It came with the actual picture of Pikachu as well.
Who's?
So it needs to settle in.
So is that your frag, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
that's nice.
The end bit needs to settle in still, like that third bit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll probably change to a different shade of brown when it goes in your tank.
I think it'll be beige this time.
I'll be honest, the SPS is really hard for me, especially in this little nano tank. I don't know if it's my tank's a bit dirtier. So like the LPS and the softies love it in there, but the SPS just
well, to be truthful with you, it's like some of my SPS, like the higher end SPS, is not looking as good as like the other, the lower end. And I think it's just because I've got no nutrients. I tested my phosphates. My phosphates was 0.01. So it's like there's no phosphates in my tank, and I don't know why, because I've not changed the raw phos in that tank. I've actually turned the actual torque off. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then
phosphates, mate.
I really don't know like what's the matter with it. You know what I mean? It's my nitrates are just not going up at all. I don't know what, and I think it's because since I've took that tang out of my tank. Because they're like rhinoceroses, aren't they? And they just excrete tons and tons like all the time. Brown tangs, especially brown tangs, they just like they eat something and it comes out in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? It's just like so the next sport.
Carry on, mate. Carry on. I was listening to that.
I hope it survives in your tank, Jay.
I don't think it will, but hey, we'll give it a go.
He's gonna go for it anyway.
Hey, I was the Monty anyway, Jay.
Oh, don't ask about the Monty.
No, there's a story here.
I think it's starting to colour up. So it looks like yellow now. It looks like yellow.
Has it gone brown?
You know, like Ross used to on his camera when he went yellow that time.
I can still do that, mate. Let me see. There you go.
No, not that. Maybe, yeah, about that. No, that's too orange.
Yeah,
About that, yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah, do you want me to show you it? It doesn't look very good, to be honest, now. It did look really good.
I only wished I could put mine on, but I don't know how to do it on this phone. Last time it was echoey as anything, wasn't it? I don't know how to do it.
I've overdipped it. I think I've overdipped it.
The good thing about Monty's, they can come back, so I would persevere with it.
It's not gone brown like with algae or anything. It's just pale.
See if I can get mine on. 1 minute.
Steve, you'll probably just need to log in with your phone.
No,
as well.
I can't. The lights are out on my tank.
I don't know if you can see it anyway.
Next, you know what? Next week we'll do a trial run just to see something, and I'll just see whether it'll work. On my phone.
Yeah.
And what do you call it? It looks pretty good, actually.
What are we looking
Where is
at,
it?
Jay?
It's in the. What we're looking at, that big white thing in the middle.
Oh yeah, next to the gunner.
Next to the gunner, yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
can
completely.
see. Yeah, I can see a piece of rock of some sort.
That's a piece of high-end SPS, Steve. That's what that is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
hey, you know what SPSs are doing, okay, mate? Though you know
yeah,
what
they're
SPSs
all right.
are
They're coming on all right. They're coming on all right. But
yeah, they're all right, then, mate.
that was the Kung Pao Monty.
Yeah.
It looked stunning when I bought it, but I've killed it. Well, not killed it, but I think I've set it back a couple of years.
It will sit there for the upgrade.
It's a collector's piece, and I've set it back about another 2 years, I think.
It's probably only took about 5 years to get to where it was, and then you wiped it out.
It's because I dipped it too long. Like in the Coral RX, I dipped it too long. But
Yeah,
how long did you put it in for, Jay?
half an hour.
How long?
It was the fact that it was the fact when he got it, he was freaking out. He was like, "What is this? What is this?" We're like, "It's a copepod." Next thing, it's a 15-minute bath in Coral RX. Like, oh no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
A copepod. It got out and it looked like a bloody bouncer off a nightclub in the middle of town.
He thought it was a mantis shrimp.
It's like all you lot. You lot look small on camera, but then when you see you in real life, you're all absolutely massive, all of you.
Jesus. Yeah, I would love a camera that makes me look small, mate.
The copepod was about 6 foot as well when it got out. Yeah.
Did you have a bit of small man syndrome, Jay? Is that what the problem was?
Well, when you're only 5'9.5", the half's important.
So they say.
5'9.5". You need to get that calibrated, mate. That's about out, I think.
on the Hannah measure, I'm 5'9.5".
I had a sore neck from talking to you like this all day, mate. I was like, "Oh, hi, how you doing, Jay?"
Neck brace. I do struggle to get my arm to the bottom of the tank when I'm doing my maintenance. Can't all be big.
Fun and games. You know what? I'm going to have to contact him. Actually, he might have only got that. He might have only got that frag for you, Christian.
No, he's got one. He's got one for you, definitely.
Has he?
Yeah, he's definitely got one for you. Yeah.
I think he's just saying that so you don't go to Christian and say, "Oh, give me my frag."
Listen.
To be fair, it's not even brown. It's white. It looks like it.
You know what? No, I'm not getting it posted. I'm going to come up and collect it. I'm going to collect it personally. From there. I'm not going to run the risk of that. No chance.
What are you collecting?
That finger.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just call. I'm just gonna go up and pick it up rather than.
Well, when you go, let me know and I'll meet you there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Are you going to have to hire a suit for it, mate, or can you just? You
can go on a double date. You can get someone else for the car park, and you and Steve go on a double date.
I'll order that woman to get out of the car at the same time when we get out of that.
I reckon she'd love a piece of you, Steve.
Right, hey. Too young for her, mate. Too young for her, mate. I'm too young for her.
Well, that's true.
She wanted
Yeah,
a
I think
sophisticated gentleman with a suit on. That's what it was.
As far as I know, though, unless it's brown, well, not for the other ones, but it's not dead, is it? That Monteporo is not dead, is it?
I don't think
No,
so.
no, not
It's
not if it's
like a skeleton colour.
yeah. Has it got any colour on it?
Yeah, when it's under natural light, it looks slightly yellowy orange.
Yeah, well, that is still alive. Then it's still got some sort of life in it, mate.
It's got a little bit of hope.
I hope so for 80 quid. That was it. This is a frag swap. Frag swap, wasn't it?
Gee, I've got 6 here anyway in the tank. So if summer, then we'll sort it out. We'll sort it out.
Where's yours? Where's yours? You're going to show us yours then, weren't you?
I've it's been like tank lights off. So I've what do you call it? Well, I said next week before my lights go out, I'll what do you call it?
Roast. I'm not so sure I like the word roast.
Yeah, could be a bit awkward.
That could be a bit,
Let's
to be
see.
fair,
Roast.
it's just, I think that's going to come back, that coral. I've got a lot of faith in it.
Give it
As
time.
long as you've got
The
faith,
only
mate,
coral I've
just stick
killed
in
so
there.
far, let me just think about this, is that a fungi plate which got buried in the sand. And it died.
Yeah.
It got buried after 3 days.
There is a picture of mine on the right hand side. I took it. This was
Here we
yesterday.
go. Why does it say worldwide corals on it then?
There it is.
Ah, that looks good, mate. Yeah.
Get lost. Is that yours?
Yeah.
That looks white on my camera here.
No, it's this crap computer, mate.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
Hold it there, mate. Yeah.
Oh, that's better.
Hold it. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks
it looks
good.
alive.
It's definitely whiter than mine.
Yeah.
No,
God.
when I first saw it though, it was a stunning piece. You were there, weren't you, Steve? And it's got green polyps and bright orange. I thought this is going to look really good. And then I put it in. I was so underwhelmed.
I think it's the stress because obviously it was in the pot, and then when did you leave it in the pot overnight? And
I left it in the pot. Yeah, overnight. So I got back from Kraken.
Overnight.
Yeah,
I had the power outage, Steve, where I was getting an extension from next door neighbours.
Yeah, I suppose. You know what, Jay? It didn't really stand a chance, really. Let's be honest. You know, you was under it. You was under negative energy all the way through, weren't you? You know, with it.
Plus, did you not actually take it to the pub with you in your pocket, Jay? I'm pretty sure you did.
You know, this is the thing with this hobby. If you're ever in a rush to do something, just don't do it. You've got to like have infinite time, and then you can do it without stress. Because everything, I was doing it rushed, and you can't do it. You can't do it, can you?
Yeah, people say don't make changes and do stuff during the night, like in the evening or late in the evening, because if something goes wrong, or then you go to bed and then something happens overnight, your stuff. So I must admit that is pretty true.
Yeah.
So there's a question from Jambo's Reef. Do you see the skeleton of candy canes when the lights go out?
Yeah.
So the polyps
remember the polyps.
So you mean like the stem of it rather than?
Yeah, the stem. Yeah.
No, so it'll be like a flower, and obviously when the lights come on, I suppose it plumps out, doesn't it? And then it will retract. It's a bit like
a torch,
frag store. All of those. Yeah, frog spawn, all of those. As the lights go off, they retract all the way quite often. Yeah, and you'll see the skeleton.
Yeah, it's like my Indonesian torch. Yeah, it's got like 6, 7 heads or something on it. Yeah, and it's dead puffy. It's like really thingy all through the day, and then at night time it curls up and it looks like it's actually dying. You know, at night time you're like, oh my god, see all the skeleton. I don't know where all those tentacles go. You know, at night it just curl up, go into like a little pouch of some sort, you know what I mean? And then in the morning you come down and it's all like fluffy as anything again. It is weird, very strange how it does it.
So just one thing from earlier.
How's that Gorgonian going on yours? Because I've always fancied a Gorgonian. You've got one, haven't you, Ross?
You know what? Mine's alive.
One I've got,
Do you like it?
Mine's, I actually got it from a guy, Hoggy. He's been in the chat tonight. Craig Hoggy's name is. He gave me a little cutting of his one, and it was just a tiny little cutting when he gave me asked for a small bit just because his tank's so small. and I reckon it's probably maybe 3 times the size, maybe even almost 4 times the size it was from when I got it already. And they're actually really nice. I mean, you get quite a bit of polyp extension off them, and they grow quite well, to be fair. So yeah, I think it's quite a good addition to the tanks, to be honest.
I really like it. Is yours photosynthetic, or do you have to feed it?
Yeah, photosynthetic. I don't know if I would go down the non-photosynthetic one. I think that'd be quite difficult, but
it's quite a tough one because you've got to obviously put loads of food in, and then you've got a smaller tank, and how do you get the nutrients out? I mean, they look lovely, those ones, but probably quite a bit tougher to look after.
Yeah.
There you go, Jay.
Don't worry, I'll be proud. I've got faith. Like, I reckon he's going to come back. It might take another like half a year or something, but I reckon
half a year.
If it's half a year, that'll be quite quick, mate.
I might not even be in the hobby anymore, but it'll be there. He'll be back.
You'll have an upgrade by then, won't you, Jay?
Hopefully, yeah. I'm hoping early part of next year. That's what I'm hoping for. Because that's when I think
that little Max Nano will just be set up purely for that one frag. Then everyone else will be out it, and that'll just be sitting there on its own.
Yeah, it's because it had a few bits and bobs on it on the actual coral, and it scared the hell out of me. And I was like, right, this is getting a proper dip.
Yeah, but
so
it
was like under.
You know what though? With the Montes, like the Paloensis, the Monte Paloensis, they you know what, they don't really tend to hold much bugs. You know what I mean? They're not like the Montipora Capricornis, you know, where they have like the nudibranchs and stuff. And so those nudies tend to stay on sort of on the Montipora plates and stuff like that. Hence the the problem that I had with mine. But the Paloensis, if that was the case, all those nudies would have been all over my rock, you know, with a 4 on it. And I've never even seen one of them on it. You know what I mean? So I don't know whether I'm not going to say they're not prone to getting bugs of any sort. You know what I mean? Because I suppose every coral is. But I literally put mine in for like 3 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, dip it, give it a scrub with a toothbrush, and then it's out. You know what I mean?
3 minutes. Mine was 3 in for about 15, something like that.
So it'd been in a pot for probably 24 hours, and then you gave it a double dip.
I wonder why the water looks so orange.
If that survives and you can recoup that, we're going to call you the guru, mate, of Montipora. If that survives.
Well, if it was like the chalice, when I got the chalice, he said don't dip the chalice, didn't he? You remember, Steve? He said don't dip it, just put it straight in, otherwise you'll lose it.
But chalices are different, aren't they? They've got like a tiny, very thin, like
it's a thin crust.
It's a thin skin type thing on it. You don't, I think that goes for most chalices. Actually, I never dipped the other 2 chalices that I had. Never, I did it. I just risked it. Yeah. In fact, no, tell a lie. You know what I did do with them? I put them in a freshwater dip. So I just freshwater dipped them. So and then scrubbed it literally for a minute or so. Just scrubbed it around the base and threw it in because anything that what do you call it that that's a salt water is not going to like freshwater dip, mate. You know what I mean? Yeah. Stuck it in and it was good to. And touch wood, I've never had any issues with them. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So Steve, do you ever take the frags off their plugs and then because I always do that. Regardless, I'm at the Zara I got yesterday. I took it off of the plug and put it on another one because that way you don't have to worry too much about it. I still dip it, but I take it off the frag plug, then I dip it and then put it back on a frag plug. I just find it's easier.
No, I agree. Yeah. Anything like, I mean, other than like Zoas, you can't take them off of rock frag.
No, I did that yesterday. So I took it off yesterday and then I glued it back on, and it hasn't floated away. So I've been quite lucky.
No. Zoas are dope, but like say for instance, if like like a candy where we had candy canes or like the other SPSs, if we get the SPSs on a rock, then I'll snap them off. You know what I mean, and stick it. And 9 times out of 10, though, I tend to stick the SPS directly onto the rock, so not even using a frag plug. Do you know what I mean? I put a little bit of glue on the actual SPS and stick it on. You know what I mean? But other than like. I wouldn't do it for like Zoas, you know what I mean? Well, it's just too messy for that, you know what I mean? So I don't really bother.
There is a risk that if you go to re-glue it and then you don't put enough glue, it floats away. And if you put too much glue, the polyp ends up going glue and
exactly.
then away your stuff. So I get what you mean.
Yeah. Just looking here now.
Just to learn. I mean, this
Jay takes
learning curve. What's
then
that?
all he has left is frag plug.
What? I can't stand frag plug. I wish they'd be out the hobby, to be honest.
Jay takes frags off plugs, then all he has left is a frag plug.
Hey, do you know what? The frag plug colours up nicely, though, don't it, Jay?
Yeah, some lovely colour on. Really nice colour.
You get some nice colours.
I can't stand frag plugs. But I was like Steve was saying, I was told never to take Zoas off frag plugs, so I've had to cut them. But I left the Zoas on the frag plugs, but everything else is off. I can't cope with them.
I mean, you can do the Zoas though, because you can cut the frag plug with snips to get it down to basically nothing, and then just stick that on the rock, and they'll cover over it within a matter of days. Well, not days, but weeks anyway. So
that's what you've done as well, isn't it, Ross? You just kept the top bit of the plug, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, some of mine you can still see them, but I'm hopeful they'll grow over them, and you won't really notice them. A lot of them have. Yeah.
Is there any other corals that you shouldn't dip then? I mean, obviously for me, it's most of them, but is there any? Is there any that's like? And obviously we talked about chalice, but the rest of them, are they all okay to dip?
I think like the super high end SPSs. I tell you what, I did have a problem. One, with strawberry shortcake. I had a piece of strawberry shortcake from a mate, and I did the same thing. Like dip it. And I dipped it like you, but I think it was like literally 7 minutes or something, 5-7 minutes, something like that. So not long. Yeah. And would that colour up, no matter where I placed it in the tank, just never colour. And then eventually, after about maybe three or 4 months, it just died on me. And that's a strawberry shortcake. And I was like, what the hell? People say, oh, it's bulletproof, this strawberry shortcake. It's great. It didn't last in my tank.
I think they're quite tough and really sensitive, strawberry shortcakes.
Yeah.
They're certainly not very hardy, I find anyway. And from people I speak to, they're really temperamental as an SPS.
Yeah.
It's lovely when you can get them going.
Yeah.
I'm getting hammered tonight. What's going on? Oh dear.
Brilliant.
I'll get the hammerite out tonight. Anyway, before I do the Instagram tomorrow, I'll just hammerite all the sticks.
So, Paul, what's been happening with you recently? You've had some issues, have you not?
Yeah. So I stripped down the sump on the 900 last week or whatever it was, cleaned it all out because I had a couple of Aptasia in the sump, but I didn't have any in the main tank, funny enough. Then I got a peppermint shrimp. And then the Vectra pump just didn't work. It didn't switch back on. But then I spoke to Ecotech in the UK, sent it back, and I got it back yesterday, fully repaired, under warranty. So I got that back in, 5 working days. It needed a new motor on it. So fair play. I mean, as I said, the M1's been fine and everything else. So the service was fantastic in terms of, I obviously had to pay the postage to send it, but the sake of 11 quid, which I did next day delivery to get that pump sorted out, and it's back in the tank now.
Can't be that.
Done. So it was really good.
10 out of 10 for customer service.
Yeah, and what was really funny about it, I contacted them and they said, where did you buy it from? Because you have to provide your receipt. And I said, I bought it from AAC. What I didn't know, they then messaged AAC. AAC said, yeah, Paul bought it from us. And they said, fine, no problem. So I think there's a couple of things right there. Because one, if you buy from a reputable place, then hopefully that'll help if you've got a problem. So it worked out really well. Yeah, so that's fine. So I had about another 5 days with a tank with just the display working and no sump. So now I had the sump.
So how did you go about that then, mate? What did you do to run the tank?
So all I did was put the heater in the display and then off the DD controller, and I just did a 10-litre water change because the display is probably about 200 litres, maybe 200, 210. And I did a 10-litre water change every other day. And then what I did was where the heater was, I could see where the evaporation was going down to, and I just topped up the evaporation every day manually. So I topped that up, did a 10-litre water change, and touched with everything's okay. But then I haven't got hardly any SPS in there. All I've got is kind of Zoas, LPS, chalice, that kind of stuff. So it was it wasn't a problem. But the tank looks really good. So I've now got to sort out the clarity, get that installed, and reboot it.
Mm-hmm. That was a good turnaround for that, wasn't it?
It was really good survey. I mean, I was really annoyed at the fact that the pump failed after 18 months because I didn't expect that, to be fair, from a Vectra, considering the experience I've had on the other tank. But I think the sign of a good company is if you have a problem, do they sort it out for you? Yeah. And they came up trumps as well. So I wasn't overly fussed about having to not run a sump for a few days because that didn't really matter. Because you can keep the display going. I'm not really, if you're doing water changes and I'm not dosing that much, you're going to replenish it anyway. Yeah. So it was fine. So
definitely a very good turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Ecotech guys in the UK, the name of the company that deals with it, have got a really good reputation from what I've seen online.
Exodius or Zodius?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think they've got a good rep. So I would buy Ecotech again, just based on the backup service that you can get from them. Because if that had been some of the other pumps, I probably wouldn't have got the same service. I might have, but I don't know. And I really didn't want to pay for another pump.
Yeah.
So Rich has asked a question. He actually asked this earlier, and I missed it. I forgot to put it on the screen. But he's asked about the hammer to a new tank. Mouth is wide open with grey fluff coming out, and technicals are all deflated, receded. Any ideas? I don't know if that means that it's a brand new tank that he's just set up and he's put it into it, or if it's been moved from one tank to another. I'm not quite sure.
I had a hammer and it wasn't looking great, that orange hammer at one point. And I dipped it. I dipped it in the iodine reef dip, and then rinsed it off and put it back in the tank, and that helped it recover. So an iodine, kind of a diluted iodine reef dip might help it.
So he's saying it is a totally new tank. So I dare say it might depend what the levels are in that tank.
Then. So it could be lack of nutrients. It could be in the wrong place, and maybe it's getting too much flow and not enough flow. But yeah, I think dipping may help. And actually, maybe not enough nutrients. In which case, then maybe feed it because you may be starving. I can't think of anything else really.
No. There's quite a lot of different things there that could be. So without knowing much more, there could be a whole host of reasons for that, I suppose, couldn't there?
Yeah. Someone else has said about giving it an iodine dip, so maybe do that to see if you can revive it, and then maybe target feed it.
Mine, it really helped.
JB Aquatics depot, it sounds like he's having a poo, and that's what I thought at first myself when he said like it's grey coming out. I mean, when it comes out, it does look like a grey browny slight sludge type thing coming out. Because I thought at first when I looked at mine, I thought it was what's it called? I thought it was brown jelly disease at first because it looked really gooey, and I was like, oh my god, what's going on? With this and that. And then the next week, it just like did its thing, and then it kept the following day. It came back and it was like back to normal. You know what I mean? So I think like you said, maybe just dip it. See if it's still the same tomorrow or something. Just dip it. If not, feed it. I'd give it a bit of mysis or something like that, or anything. Any bit of food or whatever. And then just see if it if it stays completely curled up all the time, like dead tight and undeflated all the time, then I think you just have to keep an eye. Or maybe it might, a bit too much light. It could be loads of different things. Not enough light. It could be anything really.
Fair comment by Haley's put what's the parameters, not enough information. So I don't know what the nutrients are in that tank, and they could be okay. But if it's a new tank, even though the nutrients are okay, there's just maybe not enough biodiversity and bacteria in the tank. Potentially is that it's just a whole host of things, or it could be just adjusting to the tank. But a new tank and a hammer, that could be the problem.
Well, he's just said he's got zero nitrate and zero phosphate, so I can't see that helping.
Copy that.
I would definitely target feed it, get your nitrates out, get your phosphates out, get some aminos into it, some coral food, get some LPS coral food. That kind of thing may help to revive it. But if you got zero on that, it's basically starving.
Get it fed.
Yeah, you need to bring those up. But I think zero on nitrate and phosphate's probably just as bad as having way over levels. I mean, zero seems to be when everybody has issues, isn't it? That's when I've had
Yeah.
issues anyway, when my nutrients
Yeah.
have bottomed out. So
Yeah, absolutely. So just one comment before we move on. Julie, who obviously calls his time, you seen she's got a new tank at long last?
Oh yes.
I've seen that.
Oh,
Yeah, it looks really good, to be fair.
Yeah, so well done, Julie. At long last, I can't remember how many months, but it feels like every week. Where's your tank? You haven't turned out. So I've seen some pictures of it. Looks really nice.
Is that the one? I don't know if that's the one she's been waiting on getting built, though, was it? Or is this an intermediate one?
No, it was Innovative Marine coming out of Charterhouse Aquatics, and they've taken months upon months to get a container in from America, I think, or wherever they're made. So eventually it turned up. I can't remember if it was last week or the beginning of this week. So I've seen some pictures. It's I think it's cycled already because used some biomedia from the other tank. So it's just kind of letting it settle in. But looks a really nice tank. I think it was a tank and the cabinet came. So it was an all-in-one.
I quite like the shape of the tank, to be honest. It's a nice shape to it.
Yeah, it's quite shallow. That tank, which is nice. They're good tanks. I think the only place you can get them from is Charterhouse. I think they're the sole distributor for IM in the UK.
Yeah, I think so. They don't ever seem to keep them in stock for long, though, do they? They seem to come in and go straight back out.
They fly out the door because they're quite. I mean, I've always found their products to be really good. I haven't had one of their tanks, but I've had their skimmers and some of their other stuff as well, which is pretty good.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump to this question because there's been about 5 people asked this. So, Jay, what colour was your hoodie originally?
It used to be orange.
If you actually go back up the chat, there's a lot of things said. Was that orange before? So yeah, I think
rainbow. I used to have 4 colours in it. Very good. I've missed all this. I've missed this.
There was a lot of comments earlier on asking what colour your hoodie used to be, but we were in a conversation at the time, so I didn't put it on.
Julie's tank. It's really nice. I'm just looking at that, and then everybody else is laying into me again here.
From Michael, Julie says new tank for about 10 extra minutes tonight.
I reckon that's worth it. Absolutely.
But yeah, it does look really nice. I'm looking forward to actually seeing what she does with that one, to be fair. I think it could be
huge by the looks of it. It's about
that's what I'm saying. It's a really good shaped tank, I think.
Yeah,
it's about 5 or 6 foot by the looks of it.
I don't know if it's that big, mate. Is it?
I don't know. It looks on the pictures, but it's hard from a picture, isn't it?
No, I don't think it's 5 or 6 foot.
That the one at Kraken's stunning, isn't it? That 7 foot.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'd love that. I don't know where to put it. Well, I'd absolutely love that.
Yeah.
I reckon you can keep things stable in that. God, it's like the ocean.
Can you imagine with your taste, Jay, trying to kit that out of all the corals?
No.
You can put hundreds in there, couldn't you? It's just unbelievable.
He'd have to remortgage his house.
I think we all would, though. I've kept a track of every little thing that I've bought in the tank. And I've got a nano tank. It costs so it just adds up. It's ridiculous. It adds up. When you're doing like the 20, 30 pound every other week or whatever, it doesn't seem like it. But then when you log it for a year or two, I mean, you two over 7 years and 4 years or whatever, you've basically spent about together probably a small family house, haven't you?
In Scotland, that might be a small family, but probably not. I get what you're saying. So I dare to say how much I've spent over the years on. I haven't kept a record.
Hell of a lot. Yeah,
absolutely, quite a bit of money. And Jay, Julie's 5 foot tank is a 30-litre tank.
She's very good at taking photographs.
I don't think it's
30 litre.
30
No,
litres, though, is it not?
That's got to be 300. It's not 30 litres.
Sure, I think it's a Fusion 30L will be the name of it because it's a long
30 gallon.
30.
I don't know.
But I don't know what the 30
next
stands
time I want
for.
a picture of something that I've got that's really small, looking really big, I'm going to ask Julie to come round.
I would rephrase that, Jay.
I mean, she can make my scooter blenny look like a great white.
A fish. Sorry, I thought you meant something completely different there.
What are you on about, Ross?
That was
Keep steering the ship, Ross. Keep steering the ship.
Away from the rocks, Ross.
I wondered where you were going with that one.
Jake's Wi-Fi is going to go off in a minute.
Can't be 30 litres, can it? Surely.
30 gallons.
It looks way bigger than, I'm on it now. It looks way bigger than 30 litres, that does.
There you go. Julia said it's 3 foot.
It must be 30
Oh,
gallons.
3 foot.
3 foot.
Yeah, Jamie said it stands for 30-gallon long and it's 3 foot.
There we go.
Well, it's bigger than mine. What a surprise.
People are asking if it's Scooter Blenny that you call it, Jay. Is that its wee name, is it?
Scooter Blenny.
Yeah.
What? Which one? The plain one?
I hope you've only got one, mate. You shouldn't have any more than one.
No, I have got one. It's called, well, according to my wife, it's called Larry. According to everybody here, it's called Sharpie.
Oh man,
What's going on now?
This is classic. This is classic. Oh, it's so good.
Coach, I don't even know what the hell's going on anymore. Hey, dear. I like Fridays, you know. Come down. We can have a bit of a laugh. And what's better than having a laugh, eh? It's good medicine.
Exactly.
It is, as long as you and Larry are fine, mate, that's all that matters.
Absolutely. All is good in the world.
Sharp is his real name. Yeah. I know Ross is the admin. He needs to cut down on these innuendos. I don't know what's going on here.
They just keep flying out, mate. I can't control that.
It. Most of them get printed on T-shirts as well.
I've not done a T-shirt for a while, actually.
You can do a Larry T-shirt, couldn't you?
A Larry T-shirt.
Yeah. My missus calls it Larry.
With a picture of a scooter behind.
Well, that's weird. When you get pet names, that is a bit weird, that is. The gift that keeps on giving. That was good.
I'll give you it, Jay.
Have we asked about Steve's tank yet? Because it's nearly time to finish.
Steve, what's been happening with your tank, mate?
What's been happening with your tank, Steve? Another one of them weeks.
We should have started an hour ago, and we might have just finished. Yeah, no, it's been a bit of a nightmare. Well, you know, obviously the nutrients are low and stuff and things like that. But I noticed that what do you call it? You know, for me, pH was always going down, and I'm like, why is my pH going down? It's always been stable, and nothing's changed in my tank. Everything's stayed the same. So I'm like, what the hell? And then I come down, and then my skimmer, which is plumbed into my CO2 scrubber via the Ventura. So it had gone off. So obviously I turned it back on, cleaned it, put it back on, and it started to bubble. But you can tell when a skimmer sucks the air in, it produces all the bubbles, and it's like a whirlwind in it, like a vortex, you know, in it. So it's supposed to produce tons and tons of bubbles, Well, for some reason, the motor was just dead. It just wasn't powering, you know, pumping the water. It wasn't getting anywhere. Opened the valve up completely, just completely like nothing. It was nothing. So I persevered, came down the following day, and it completely died. The motor, it was all on, plugged in. So I contacted them.
You must have had a spare. You always have a spare.
No, not the pump, not the pumps. I didn't know. So I contacted them. They said I could get it from Germany, you know, because it's based in Germany, you know, NIOSH, So I was like, I was like, right, okay. So I was like, well, how long? And he went, 2 to 3 weeks because of shipping, you know, because of all the troubles that they're having. And it'd be like £110 for a new pump. And I'm like,
ouch.
So I was like, I can't wait. It's not about the money for it. It was about like the weight. I thought, I can't wait 3 weeks for a pump, you know, for a new skimmer. So in the end, I went out and I bought a new skimmer. So after doing some research, I bought the Red Sea 300, you know, the skimmer Red Sea 300. And I've got to admit, it's an absolute, it's a cracking piece of kit, really good piece of kit, solidly made. It's quiet, and it didn't even take any breaking in. It literally put it in, and it was starting to skim like literally the following day. So you know what I mean. A little bit of nutrients that I had, but now I've switched it off because there's no nutrients in the tank, so I'll just let it all go in. So really, I might have been able to survive the 3 weeks. Do you know what I mean? So to get some nutrients in it, but yeah. So I had to fork out for that. And yeah, I bought a couple more fish to raise, hopefully to raise the nutrients in the tank. So I went to Kraken Corals, and I was like looking, and I thought, right, well, and I was undecided because he had. I remember when we was there, and I wanted one of the blennies, the starry blenny dinner. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Well, he was Dom was away. On his day off, so Jamal was like, "Well, it must be in one of these tanks," and I said, and we were looking all over, we couldn't find it. So in the end, they ended up buying a algae blender, but an algae blender, nice. which is unusual, really, because I don't know whether it's a female or what, but the females have like pink spines on the back because it looks like it's got
mine
like a
has as well. Mine's got a red pink spine on the back. Yeah.
That's right. Well, my other one, that must have been a male because he never had any of that. So it must be like different, or maybe different species. I don't know, gender sort of thing. And then I went against my instincts of what I've always liked these fish, but I've always gone against them because they're reef safe with caution. Do you know what I mean? And I actually bought a fox face. I bought a fox face. Yeah, little baby juvenile. Small little guy, and he settled right into the tank. Absolutely brilliant little guy. Settled in, no nipping at any corals because they tend to go for scollies, which was a bit of I thought, it's a catch-22, but got a little bit of algae, on the back, just a little bit of like, the film algae that you get on the back of your glass, just a film one. Whereas my brown tank, that was just at it all day long, just eating it. You know what I mean? So I put him in. Hopefully, as he gets older, he'll be onto that, and he's onto it now. So I bought that as well. So hopefully, it'll raise the nutrients up a little bit. Added 2 extra fish, and new skimmer in the show. You know what I mean? But yeah, other than that, that's about it, really. So it's been an eventful week, so to speak. But yeah, fingers crossed that there's a bit of a turnaround.
So with the skimmer, has it got its own little controller on it, so it's easier to control the power, or is it one where you just?
No, it's not. It's not DC. It's a plug and play, mate.
Right.
It's not DC. Yeah. No. So, but I mean, I don't know about the DC. I was having a conversation actually with Jamal in the shop, and he was saying about what do I think about the DCs compared to just the plug-in ones, the plug and play. Well, the Nios that I had, I've had that running 24/7 since day one, 3 and a bit years. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's so, and that's not a DC. Whereas my mate, he had a DC controller. I think it was Deltec one, the DC, one of the Deltec ones, and he had now but trouble because he was adjusting it. You know what I mean? And I don't know whether it's something different. I don't know whether any of you guys know, or anybody in the stream knows what What would you prefer? Would you prefer a DC one, or would you prefer just a plug and play sort of thing? Now, obviously, if I had the option, would I have gone for it? But then I think to myself, a whole idea of a skimmer is to take out nutrients out your tank, to do a job. So why would you have that? Why do you want that controllability of?
Yeah.
Is he gone?
I think
he's gone
again.
He's oh, he's still there.
Yeah.
The screen's frozen. Oh, there he is. He's back. So whilst we're waiting for
he's out, isn't he? Look, Sharpie, see him.
Jay's got it out for the
say
camera.
Hello to all the live streamers before he goes to bed. Before he goes to his bedroom.
Oh, the conch is going to go forward and run him over.
Conch is going for it. You're going to have to put him in his bed before the conch gets him.
This could be a Harry Hill
moment.
Watch
when the female clown often I don't know what she does. She waves above him and then she fires him out the back. Seriously, she'll vibrate over the top of him and it moves him, or she ends up nudging him. But don't know what she's doing now. But yeah, he's here. Look, Mate, he's made an appearance.
So we've got 50 odd people watching a screen where Scooter Blenny is not even moving.
Yeah. This is what you call prime time Friday night television.
This is
right
your
here.
Friday night. What did I do? I watched a Scooter Blenny just sit there in a conch, gradually move towards it.
Oh, the whole gang's here now.
They all want to appear to the action.
Yeah, but you see how much they love him now. Look, they just ignore him.
Gee, I must say your chalice behind the Scooter Blenny looks exceptionally brown tonight.
It does. It's totally brown.
I'm on Moonlight now. Give me a break. I'm on Moonlight. Oh, she's here. Look.
Oh, what's that?
Look there. You see her? She does that. Look.
Nah.
Having a go.
She like she doesn't bite him or anything, but she like swims above him and like moves the sand. That's what she does. She's gone back in the corner now. But yeah. Anyway, if you've got nothing better to look at, I absolutely love watching the reef though. Isn't it good? Like the time just flies by when you sat watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers for the noticing me rainbow chalice, Ross.
No. Is that a rainbow chalice?
It's a black chalice.
Sorry, I thought it was a brown chalice.
Brown chalice. Oh, he's moved again. He's over here now. Oh, he's off.
Oh.
He's off now. The camera's off. No, it's all happening in the corner now.
Game over, mate. He's missing his bed. That's what it is.
He needs his hotel.
He's knocked on the glass. He's like, "Where's my bedroom? Let's get in there."
What you and Larry do at night time's up to you.
I would definitely buy from Nest's again online as well. It was great.
I know you were a bit wary about buying a fish online in general, Jay, weren't you?
Yeah, I don't know if many people do it. If I'm being truthful, I know Paul's never done it, and he's been in it 7 years.
Well, I haven't needed to because I've been quite fortunate that there are quite a few fish shops around, and they get most fish that if I wanted, that they'll order it and I'll get it in. I just have to wait. So I'm quite lucky that I don't need to. And also those kind of fish, I prefer to see them feeding. But Nessie's has got a good reputation. Obviously, Ross uses them and stuff like that. So you knew he was going to take care of it, and everything would be okay. And you might have got a really good, healthy specimen there, haven't you?
Oh, it's super healthy, yeah. And it was the quarantine thing that drew me to it. The fact that it had been quarantined for a week after the original one, so it had been quarantined 4 weeks. So I just felt it was safer. Yeah. It was super healthy.
Plus, he gets the meeting as well on frozen food, so you know that it's going to be all right for him as well.
That is true.
And that price.
It's half price from the other ones, was it not?
That price was fantastic, wasn't it? Compared to, because I know around where I am, they're about 45-50 quid for that fish.
£30 it was. Unbelievable. It's such a great fish, but like I say, you just have to feed heavy, so you've got to be up on your maintenance, really.
Yeah. So have you noticed the nutrients going up, Jay, or have you been able to sort it out?
I've had a slight increase in nitrates and phosphates, and I've noticed a little bit of hair algae creeping in onto the scape again, and it's just because I'm feeding. I know, I'm just feeding loads. Well, not loads, but quite a lot, so he gets fed. But no medicated stuff in my tank, mate. I'm not going anywhere near that.
Mate.
No,
that's what you need.
Not at all. No.
So Steve, when you were away there, mate, Steve, you missed a really good bit of the stream. Like Michael Butler said, it was Jay's Blenny not moving. So.
Where's John?
We sat and watched Jay's. It was a sticker of Jay's Blenny where it just was on the glass. It looked like it.
and we saw his rainbow chalice as well.
Oh yeah.
How's
it looking now? Yours, Jay? Is it good? Yeah.
Brown.
It was under the moonlight, mate. So it was pitch black.
It's not brown now, is it?
Oh, the rainbow chalice is brown, dude. Everything's brown under the moonlight, isn't it? Really?
Well,
Jesus.
yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just.
I love my piece. I love that rainbow chalice. It's started to colour up really nice. It's perfect. It's a beautiful coral. Slow growing. I only wish it grew fast. You know what I mean? That's the only problem.
Mine's at the edge of the tile now, so I need to put something. Mine's right at the edge of the tile, so I need to put something next to it. Otherwise, it's going to start wrapping round.
Yeah, mine's at the edge of the tiles. you know, at the edge of the tile on one top section, and then on the other side, it's like orange at the big. It's orange on one section, yeah, and then on the right hand side, it's all green, and then on the left hand side, it's yellow. It's weird, really weird, mate.
I'm going to ask a serious question now, right? Don't laugh. How do you get the lump in it?
That's the actual puts that he used, wasn't it?
What?
It's the actual
plug or
It's the way it grows.
Yeah, it's the actual frag plug.
So he might have grown over the frag. So it might have been on a small frag plug.
It's grew on a frag plug,
and it's grown over the frag plug, and then he's put it onto another frag plug. And also, they tend to grow up and then out as well.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, if it just goes onto another frag plug, it's just going to be really flat again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what
your best off doing?
Kicking off. It's kicking off here.
Oh, he's got to get his bed out.
What?
Jay, he was up the top of the water there. I just seen him up the top, and I thought, what is
I know,
he doing?
yeah,
Shallow
that's what I
water?
mean.
There's no way it should be at that depth.
Kick it off now, mate. Hey, it's a Friday night kick-off.
It's fight night. Fight night live.
Yeah. It's like when
You're
you
going to get Jay's real bouncers for that tank.
You'll see him up here next. He'll be up here soon.
Yeah.
Jay's
What you could do, Jay, especially for the scooter blend, is you could tile a section of the tank and just put the chalice there so it grows onto tiles, and then he'll think it's like a tiled little kitchen area for him as well. So you might enjoy that better.
For 1 minute, I was listening there because I thought you'd been serious. Oh dear. Yeah, he's going to be floating about in a minute. I'm a bit worried about that, but it'll be all right. He's fully.
Jay's getting his bed out. Are you going to get his bed out, Jay?
Have you ever bought a fish online, Steve?
No.
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 Yeah. No. Not many people do they? Not many people do.
And the only reason really I've not got anything against people buying fish online. Absolutely, thousands of them, millions of them are shipped out online. So nothing against. The only thing I like to see about the fish is I like to see them being fed. So I like to be in the shop. Yeah, I like to see what they're like swimming, what they're like with other fish. You know, if they're aggressive, etc. Yeah, you know what I mean. I want to see like the temperament of them. You know what I mean. If they're little souls, then they're not coming in. They're not coming in the tank. You know what I mean. But the main thing is like feeding them. You know what I mean. If they're eating, then it's good. You know. So I mean, it's like that little fox face I got. Tiny, yeah. Predominantly herbivores, so eating algae and stuff like that. But freaking hell, the moment I put mysis in that tank, he is like fighting,
they
like,
love it, didn't they?
Yeah. Eating it. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's a good thing, you know, that that he's eating mysis as well. It's the roast.
It is every week. It's every week. This is.
Somebody commented though saying because your Wi-Fi was crap last week, Jay, you didn't get it that tight, and we had Dom and Jamil on as well. So I think they've doubled up this week and just gave you mega tight.
Yeah. 2 in 1.
Go big or go home. I think it was. Yeah. Basically.
So Julie said about getting a good setting for a prime. So I can send you my settings that I've got, but there's also loads of settings online that you can download. You can download some from the AI's website, but you can also download. There's a group on Facebook, and I can't remember the name of it. It's something like AI Prime Owners Group or something, and they've got all the files you can download for them. But there's hundreds of them, so it's try to get one that you like and suits your tank. I can send you mine if you want, but you might not like it, and it might not suit your tank either. So.
And you rate that, like, didn't you, Ross? The AI.
Yeah, I really like it. I mean, obviously, I have nothing else to compare it to, but for everything that I've seen, and for my tank anyway, it seems a really, really good light.
Was that an upgrade light? Does it come with that light, or did you buy that separate? What was? No,
so the water boxes don't come with lights as standard. You can buy like I can't remember what they call it. It's like a water box plus or something where you get lights with it.
It's the deluxe one, isn't it?
Yeah,
they do come. I thought they do come with them. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, if you buy the deluxe version, then you get the lights with it as well. But when I priced the deluxe version against mine, I could buy the light cheaper separately.
Right.
So I bought the light. It was Black Friday sales, mind you, so that's how I got it that way. But I think it's a fantastic little light for what it is. I mean, it's quite a relatively cheap light, but it does everything you would need, and the app's really easy to use as well. Plus, I use the same app for my Nero 3 and the light as well, so it does make things a bit easier. But the amount of controllability you've got off it's really good.
Yeah, that AI app I think is pretty good because I run the Nero's free off of it, and I think it's easy to use.
Yeah,
and easy to set up as well.
I love that AI on my nano tank. It was grew coral brilliantly. There's nothing you know what I mean. Even SPS, it grew SPS perfect. So I had no issues with that whatsoever. And I was only running it at 60%. Yeah, 55-60%. So definitely.
The question on this one though is I don't know if Julie's only running one AI prime on that because it's a 3-foot tank. I'd have thought you'd probably need more than one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Good call. Yeah.
Yeah, because the spread won't. I suppose the spread's okay on yours, isn't it? Because it's not a particularly wide tank.
It's fine on mine, but I definitely think that a 3-foot tank you'd probably need at least 2, if not maybe 3.
Yeah,
you did a really nice top-down picture this week of your AI prime and your corals, Ross.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was really nice, really good.
But yeah, the prime for little nano tanks, they're fantastic, and even if you had 2 or 3 on a bigger tank, I think it would still do the job, to be fair. Obviously, you've then got like the Hydra 32s and is it 64s or something that goes up to as well, so you could jump up to them. But yeah, I mean, it's quite good because, I mean, even likes of somebody mentioned, I think Darren mentioned about the Saxby one. So Saxby's got a setting that you can download. The only thing to bear in mind is that Saxby's tank is about 4-5 foot tall, plus the lights on top of that. So, if you upload that setting in a little nano tank, you're going to cook everything. So the good thing is you can literally just put 2 fingers and drag the screen down, and that lowers the intensity of everything and keeps it all even.
That would probably work.
And then you can move the timings as well. So it's really easy to do, to be honest. So it's quite good to adjust things. So I played about with it and I tried the Saxby settings before I had the corals and fish and so on, but I just personally didn't like the colours of it. That was the thing that put me off. I just didn't like the look of it. So I ended up kind of butchering a couple of settings and making my own one, and that seems to have worked quite well.
It's done the trick, isn't it? Yeah. So it looks good. And what's quite interesting, Phil's put a comment on here around the AI app is much better than the Mobius app. I use both, and I agree. AI is better, especially when it comes from the same company. And AI was testing it first before Mobius came out. You would have hoped that the Mobius would be the same, if not better, and enhanced one. So. I agree.
Problems with them. I have connection problems with the Mobius app sometimes. I don't know what the hell's going on with it. So
I've been okay, but I very rarely use it because once I've got everything set, like your lights and your pumps.
Yeah.
I don't. Okay, you can go in and you can mess about with things, but I must admit, once things are set up, your lights and your pump, I never mess around with them. I just leave them as they are. Once they're set up, they're good to go. So while it's good to controllability, other than setting up, I don't think I ever touch it. But I know what you mean.
So Julie said there that she had the Hydra 26 in the old tank, but too big, so bought 2 AI Prime 16. So yeah, that'll be perfect.
That makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah.
3 foot, I think 2 of them do fine. So I can send you my settings, Julie. You can upload them, and you can just play about with intensities and so on if you want. You might not like them, but I can do that anyway.
So does the Prime come with the mount, or do you have to buy the mount separate?
You got to buy it separate.
You buy them separate, mate. So I've got the gooseneck one, which is basically the kind of bendy, flexible one that I've got. You do get a kind of fixed bracket as well, which is almost just like an L shape as such, a rigid bracket. Or you can get the hanging kits and so on for them as well. So there's a couple of different mounting options for them. But I like the gooseneck one just so you've got that bit more flexibility to have it exactly where you want it.
Is it a slimmer profile as well than the thick one?
So the gooseneck one's it's like a little bar as such, so it's cylindrical. It's a little bar, whereas the plate, the actual rigid one's thin if you look at it from the side, but it's quite a wide plate on the flat. So it really, it depends what you want. I don't think there's one better than the other, to be honest. It's just a aesthetics thing. But again, I mean, I had the bracket that was on mine, the little screw broke that was on that a couple of months back, maybe a month or so ago. And I got in touch with AI and they sent me out a replacement one pretty quick, to be fair. So they've been really good to be honest. The customer service on them was good, so I can't complain about them. I think it's one of those things that I see a lot of people, especially with the little fluvels and so on, that come with the built-in lights in the lid, and then they'll upgrade to the AI primes, and it seems to be a much better light that's on them. It's obviously it's a kind of budget entry level for the AI primes, but they are really good.
Get the doctor in a minute.
Yeah, that's the thing when people buy the all-in-one tanks with all the lights and everything, they quite often end up upgrading it, don't they? So that's the downside of those, because the stock lights you get from them are not the best in the world.
No, it is. No.
And I mean, it's not just that as well. You end up, so like Steve said earlier, those little fluval tanks, they're brilliant. They're cheap, everything's there, but by the time you've upgraded the return pump, the light, the lid, you've got a jump guard on it, you've changed your media baskets, you're literally you're less a glass cage as such. That's all you've got. So
yeah,
it's one of those that
good call.
Yeah, it sounds a bit like Trigger's broom, doesn't it?
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah,
I've got the original tank, except for so you've actually just got the glass box, like you say. Everything else has been changed over, and you've probably spent twice, if not 3 times as much.
We could just all build our own tanks. Did you watch JD Reef's latest video for his refugee? He basically built his own aquarium. I was like, what skills? He's got unbelievable skills. There's no way I could do that. We should do that. There you go.
I think I could do it. I think I could do it, but I don't think it'll hold the water. That's the issue.
It's a small issue.
I think I could build it, but the water, I probably wouldn't seal it right. That would probably be the problem.
I was so impressed with his DIY skills. It was incredible. Great video that was.
What I've seen
build your own refugee.
I think going back onto lights, I think like if I had God forbid, I'm not hoping that it does anyway. I mean, I've got the 126s on mine, and they've never ever failed me. Touch wood, and I'm hoping that I don't jinx myself now. But
New lights this weekend.
I think, Jay, please don't. But I think if for instance like they went and all that, I think I would try I think I would definitely go try the Reflect, the Reef Factory, those new ones, because they look fantastic. Them and when I was speaking to Dom and Jamal, they were saying like they spoke to the top dogs, the Reef, the top guys from there and all that, and they were saying like basically they turned around and said we want something that's better than the Radions, do you know what I mean? So no expenses, you know what I mean? So they've not really, there's not many videos out on them, you know what I mean? And they're not not many people are like beta testing them, I don't think, or maybe they have, but they've not come out with it and not allowed to think. But I think
Dom's got one, mate, hasn't he?
Pardon?
Dom's got one at Kraken. That was what was over that little tank.
Yeah, over that. Well, we seen. Look how bright that was. It was crazy bright, wasn't it? For the little tiny one. Imagine what the free one will do, mate. That would just frick. I'd need like maybe the 2 of the 2s. You know what I mean, or something over my 4-foot tank. I don't think you need any more than that. I think that'd be enough.
Yeah, definitely. I think they were quite impressed from what we seen, and Dom had said they're bringing out another one that's a more blue spectrum on it as well. Right. But I think it's got an actual. So see how like the body of them's a kind of black anodized finish on them. The blue one's got a blue anodized finish on them. Yeah. So while some folk will like that, I don't quite know if I would want a blue anodized light hanging over the tank.
I know. Yeah. Unless it does something, like if you run a blue spectrum and it might like reflect, like the blue, it might look, something like I don't know, like it blends in, like it blends into it. I don't know, mate. All the time we'll tell when we see. You know what I mean? I think it'll.
I like the lights and everything to be black. I mean, even you get the AI primes in white, and I can't take them in white. I don't.
No, I know what you mean.
I just don't like the look of them being white. I don't know why, but
yeah.
Black just looks a bit more premium, doesn't it? It looks a little bit more expensive, I think that's what it is. It looks nicer. If you haven't managed to give Ross a thumbs up yet, please give him a thumbs up for steering the ship through some stormy waters tonight. You've done a great job, Ross. So
it's effortless, mate, because it's all the comments just destroying mainly you, to be honest. But
can you filter the comments a bit better next week?
I'll try, mate. I'll try.
You need to chuck a few people out, eh?
Yeah, I'm having Brown on the bingo next week. Definitely. The word Brown is going to be definitely on there.
As long as we don't play like a drinking game where you've got to take a shot every time somebody says Brown, that would be a disaster.
Oh my God! That is a live stream that's worth tuning in for.
You'd have an ironing board out there, wouldn't we?
A Christmas New Year special where we do
Christmas
a drunk
bingo, right? And we get all these things. Yeah, we have a shot every time something's happened.
You can have a shot of
You've got to dress up. You've got to dress up. We've all got to dress up in some sort. So Jacob with the elf. Jacob with the elf. Jacob with the elf with his blenner.
Why do you want to see me dressed up, Steve? I don't want. You got some sort of fetish going on here. What's going on?
Not yet, mate.
I'd be interested to see what you would pick as a dress up outfit, Steve. Jay, that would be the thing.
That'd be pretty good. We do it at the Christmas. We'll have Christmas bingo. That'll be good.
Christmas special.
The Christmas special, that'll be a crack of that. Yeah, that'll be funny. Yeah, look forward to that.
Oh dear. Right.
Yeah. We've had Mogsy talking to his missus, Jay talking to his blenner, Paul talking to his dog. All we need is Ross talking to his crab.
I know. The crabs are all in the one tank now. They're all in the same tank, so there's absolutely nothing in the crab tank. It's empty now. There's nothing in it. It's all in there.
Everything's in.
Yep, everything's in, and they're all doing well, to be honest. So touch wood anyway. Julie has spoken.
Here we go.
There we go.
She has spoken.
Has.
That flew in for me, that one. So
absolutely, yeah, it's been a really good live stream. So where are we next week? We're on yours, Steve, aren't we? Next week?
Yeah, Matt. Yeah. Final week until and then back on the week after, unfortunately. So yeah, it is. No. It is.
Yeah. Well, we'll make sure to tune in on Steve's channel next week. And yeah, thanks very much for all the hilarity in the chat tonight. It was a good one. I enjoyed that one. So
thanks very much, everybody, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks very much for joining us. So have a good weekend, folks, and take care. We'll see you soon.
Yeah,
take care, guys. Thanks.
Bye for now.
Cheers.
Bye.